Welcome to episode 5 of our podcast. Excuse me, Karen, where we tell you Karen tales so you can laugh at our expenses as well as the Karens.
People, we now have listeners in New Zealand.
What?
I know. We're getting there.
That's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
I have mad love for New Zealand. It's like number one on my places to go in life.
Right? Lord of the Rings. Hello.
Don't shame me.
I'm
Okay.
not. I love Lord of the
Oh,
Rings.
no. I'm just saying don't shame me because I just watched them for the first time, like all the way through, like 2 months ago.
That's okay.
Ever.
Now you have to go to The Hobbit now.
I was going to watch The Hobbit. I feel like everyone was telling me not to watch it because it wasn't as good.
It's not as good, but it's still good.
Lauren, tell them the other news we have.
So we did a guest spot on a podcast called In the Weeds by Rob Law. It's all about the restaurant business and the laws that he's made up for it. Rob is great and hilarious. We put the link to the episode in our bio for this episode. So take a listen and enjoy laughing your ass off.
Yeah, it was so fun. This was actually our second episode being on it, and I loved it. It is a great time.
Yeah, we had a ton of fun and I think we're going to keep doing it weekly. So
As long as he
stay tuned.
asks, we'll be there.
Exactly.
It's time for this episode's edition of The Bitching Corner. Lauren, what do you have to bitch about today?
So the controversy about saying the word pillow, is it pillow or pillow?
Pillow.
Because it's fucking pillow. Exactly. And I went on this Facebook group and it was like heart this for pillow, left react this for pillow. And like 3,000 people heart reacted it and they were like, it's fucking pillow, blah, blah, blah. And only 4 people laugh reacted it for pillow. And I just hate when people say pillow, but it's hilarious and it's funny, but it's like there's no
It
E.
To me, it sounds like they're trying to be fancy. Like, can you hand me the pillow?
Can you
And it's
get
like,
me my pillow, please?
yeah, please do not be offended by our very shitty, fake ass movie British
Yeah,
accents. Um,
because we have a lot of them.
we are garbage Americans. I'm so
Mhm.
sorry.
Always
Um,
the worst.
but no, it's kind of like the pillow thing is like the milk and milk thing.
Ugh,
And every time somebody says milk,
I hate it.
my heart just like, huh! I just I don't
Like
know.
my body just tenses up. I'm like, ugh, why?
It For some reason my brain goes, is that milk thick? Like there's milk.
No,
It makes me imagine like thick milk, and I'm like,
that thick ass milk.
yeah, and no, can't do it.
All right, Lacey, what are you bringing to the bitching corner this week?
Oh, the fact that it is my day off and I had to drive all around town, like all the way into the middle of the country, like so far into the yee country that I saw fucking buffalo today.
Oh shit.
I have the worst migraine and I just want to sleep for like a week.
Felt.
I, oh, every single bone in my body. I'm just exhausted, and insomnia is a motherfucker and will not let a bitch sleep.
Hard agree. I'm sorry.
Ugh, it's life. I deal with it.
Adulting.
Hashtag. We're gonna hop right into these Karen tales because I got a doozy for all of y'all today.
Ooh.
Oof. So today's Karen tale is the one time that made me refuse to ever step foot into a Home Depot ever again.
Even
We're,
for a hot dog?
aren't the hot dogs outside?
I mean, kind of, they're like in the door, like where you walk in. So they're
Listen,
kind of outside, but like kind of inside.
it's been so long since I've been there. I don't know where they're at. But no, not even for a hot dog. Unless like you want to go and I'll roll up, you hop out, grab us some dogs and we can go.
Damn, okay.
So this all actually kind of starts off in the pharmacy. When I worked in the pharmacy, we had a lot of regular customers. People that would come in constantly for prescriptions or to talk to the pharmacist. They would come into the pharmacy and say hi to us just while they're doing their grocery shopping.
Right.
They knew everyone by name and they can tell you our schedules. It was fucking weird.
Yeah, I don't like that. That is pretty weird.
Like I had people who would specifically come in on days they knew I was working so they can get their prescriptions from me because I was the nicest one.
And the best.
Always. Or like if we were busy and there was two people at the registers and they like and somebody was going to go next and they would go to the other person, they would let the person behind them go first just so they can come to me. Like people
Ooh,
fucking loved me.
look
I
at
ju-
you.
I don't know why because I am a fucking bitch. Like
Stop.
everyone knows it too, so I'm like, okay. Fun fact, at my new job, I recognized the woman that they wanted me to shadow during my interview.
Mm.
She was one of the people that I would help with the pharmacy. And her husband was such a fucking Chad.
Way?
He was so bad. He was like the worst. But whenever I dealt with her, it was great. And she loved me. So she would always like end up coming in for the prescriptions.
Mm.
And I'm sitting with her, and the guy that sat in front of her like heard my voice and he got up and he was like, Lacie? And I'm like, bitch, what's up?
Mm.
And he was one of my regulars all the time too, and he would only come and deal with me. And to this day, he doesn't work at my company anymore, but to this day, I still talk to him. I love him. He is the greatest. I'm pretty sure those two are the reason I got hired at my job.
You are so popular.
Not really. I was very underqualified for this job,
Mm.
but they hired me.
Because
So
why not?
true, they needed people. So like I live in a kind of small area and you're bound to run into someone you know at any of the stores.
Mm.
Well, one day I was at Home Depot and I cannot for the life of me tell you why I was there or what I was looking for, but I was there. And I was down an aisle like with a cart, um was wearing like non-work clothes, everything. And I'm just walking and like late 40s, early 50s, maybe couple stops me and they're like, Lacie, hi. And I'm like, oh, hey, Greg. Hey, Barbara. Completely made up names because I do not remember these people. Like, I don't remember their names now.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how are you guys doing? Like, what's good? And they're like, oh no, we're doing great. Like, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh, shopping. And they're like, how's the pharmacy treating you? And I'm like, oh, it's great. It's my day off. So I'm just, getting stuff I need for the house. And they laugh and they're like, okay, well, you have a good one. I tell them to have a good day and I start to walk away. And Greg's like, wait. And I turn around and I'm like, what's up? He's like, can you tell us where the roller brushes are? Here I am on my day off in a fucking Home Depot, dressed nothing like I do when I'm at work. I'm not wearing a badge. I'm not wearing like my vest or smock or whatever. Like, I'm in normal people clothes, tits out, like, whatever. And he's asking me where something is, and I'm like, I don't know, Greg. You're going to have to ask an employee. And fucking Barbara goes, we are. No, Barbara,
Mm,
you're fucking not, because I don't work here. So I tell her, like, I don't work here. And she's like, like, how do you not know where the roller brushers are? You should know. Bitch, this is like my third time ever coming to
Home
a
Depot.
like a Home Depot in general. And the last two times were to get a fucking hot dog. Like, I
What
don't
the
know where it is.
That is so weird.
Right? And Greg's like, I don't understand why you can't just help us, point us in the right direction. I'm like, dude, you know what? I don't even know. Check 4 aisles over. So they just like huff and leave. And I'm just like, okay, I need to hurry up, get my shit, and get the fuck out.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I go like all the way down the aisle and I'm like, okay, I'm not seeing what I'm looking for. And I turn around the corner and guess who's coming back?
Greg.
And Barbara.
Ugh.
So I'm like, yay. Not. They both look so pissed and they stop me. And Barbara's like, what the fuck? Why didn't you tell us the right place? That was duct tape. And I'm like, what? She's like, why are you wasting our time? And I'm like, I don't work here. I don't know what else you want me to say. And
What
Greg's
the
like,
fuck?
yeah. I'm like, I don't know how many times I can tell you that I do not work here, but whatever. So he's like, or Greg's like, you know what, Barb? Go get the manager. And I'm like, yes, Barb, go get the fucking manager, please. And so she's like, she storms away. And Greg is just giving me the stank eye. I could have walked away. Like, I had 1,000 chances to walk away, but I stayed because I wanted to see what was going to happen. I wanted to know how this was going to go because I am that much of I'm that much of a bitch. I don't like, you're going to sit here and do shit to me? Oh, no. No, no, no. No, Greg, you done fucked up, baby. So Greg says, you know what, Lacie? You're usually more helpful than this. I don't know what your problem is today, but this will be dealt with. And I'm just laughing. And I'm like, yeah,
What the fuck?
yeah, I just laugh and I'm like, you think so, right? And he's like, I'm telling your manager everything. You cannot speak to customers this way. And I'm still laughing and I go, Greg, you shouldn't be speaking to customers this way. And he's like, are you mocking me? And I just laugh and I'm like, nope. So Barb comes back. She like comes walking up all like Karen-y, like, haha, I got the manager and you're about to get fired. And I'm just like, ha ha ha. You thought, okay. So
Right.
I'm just trying not to like bust out laughing. So the manager comes up and is like, what seems to be the problem here? And is looking at me and I'm like, I just like give him this look like, bro, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I'm just
Like
here for the fucking ride.
dementia?
Yeah. I'm like, I'm just here for the ride. I want to see what's happening with this. So Barb crosses her arms and is like, we asked her where to find the roller brushes, and she goes, I don't know. Try 4 aisles over. So we went on a wild goose chase in this store, and she won't tell us where to go. And she's being super disrespectful and has an attitude, and she used vulgar language.
Oh my
And
god.
I'm just like smiling. Greg's back at it with a stink eye, and I'm laughing because now the manager's face is like, what the fuck? And he looks at me like, who are you? And I say out loud, I'm like, dude, I told them like 3 times and they didn't listen. So he tells them, he's like, she doesn't work here. She's not an employee at Home Depot. And these delusional ass people are like, we know her. She helps us in the pharmacy every time we come in. And I'm like, ding, 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 dumbass. I work in the pharmacy, not fucking Home Depot.
Wrong
Yeah.
stores.
And they're like, well, you should know where these things are. And I'm looking at the manager like, homie, please, please, please fucking help me. I don't know how many times I can say, I don't work here. Or how many times Greg and Barbara can say that I don't work here before it fucking dawns on them that I don't actually fucking work here. So the manager's like, she's not an employee. She's a customer just like you. Like, he speaks slowly, hoping they would understand. And that pissed Greg off. And Barbara just goes, "Ugh," and makes like she just makes that noise. And I'm like, I'm laughing. And Greg's like, you can't speak to us like we're dumb. We're asking for help, and neither of you are being helpful. And he when he said you can't speak to us like we're dumb, I lost it. I was full on like going to cry, pee my pants, laughing because him and his wife are so fucking dumb. You are dumb because I don't fucking work here. It
Right.
has been stated at least 7 times that I do not work here between myself, the manager, and them. So, whatever. And even
What the hell?
the manager laughed, and it made me laugh even more. So at this point, I'm like, guys, this is fucking hilarious. Thank you so much for making my day. And Greg just gets like mad, mad. Like, he is big mad. And I'm just like, okay. Like, it's so fucking funny. And he's like, how are you gonna let your employees talk to me with this disrespect? And I'm like, Ashton, are you around here? Are you about to pop out with some motherfucking cameras? Did you bring Punked back? Because I have to be on Punked. I have to be. These people,
Right, where you
yeah,
at?
these people can't be this dumb. And the manager, at a normal talking speed, says, "Sir, she doesn't work here." And Barbara, oh, this bitch, she just goes, "Ugh," again. And I'm like, "Do you need a lozenge? Like, do you need a
Oh
Halls?"
my God.
And I'm like laughing. And I just like, I can't. I'm like crying. These people are like shooting daggers out of their eyes and like, oh, they're about to burst into flames. And I'm like just laughing. I'm having the time of my fucking life. So I'm crying. And I turn to the manager and I'm like, okay, Home Depot manager man, I love you. And like, thank you so much. But these people just don't fucking get it. So I turned into a mini Karen and I'm like, can you please do something about these people? They've been harassing me for almost a half hour and I just want to finish my shopping. And Greg and Barbara just fucking lose it. And I am laughing. I like, I was like the Joker laughing, like evil laughing. I did not give a fuck. They have been harassing me for a half an hour over some roller brushes they could have been searching for. And they're just like, you can't get rid of us. We are customers here. We are customers. And the manager's like, okay, you two need to calm down or we'll have to escort you from the store. Greg is like purple and Barbara has like smoke coming from her ears. And I'm sitting on the floor, like laughing my ass off, like in the fucking fetal position. I am like dying. It is so funny. I'm not really, but like in my head, I was.
Right.
And they just continued to yell. So the manager like got on like a walkie or something. I don't know if he had a walkie or like a headpiece. And he called someone over, and 3 people came to escort them out of the store. And I'm just like,
Yes.
oh, after they leave, this dude is like, what the fuck? And I'm like, dude, I don't know. They were crazy. I'm just trying to shop. Like, I just want to get my shit and get out. And he's
Mm.
like, okay, well, you have a good day. And I'm like, bruh, the best day. Thank you. So I finished my shopping.
What?
Oh, I'm not done. I am not done. There's more to this
Wow.
story. So I finished my shopping and like I go to work the next day and I get called into HR.
Oh shit.
So they called my store's HR on me. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I go to the lady in HR and she's like, we had a couple call in and complain saying that you were being vulgar and you weren't being helpful and blah blah blah. And I'm like, when, yeah, I'm like,
Excuse me?
when did this happen? She's like, they said it happened yesterday, but you weren't scheduled and you didn't clock in. I was like, yeah, that was like Greg and Barbara. This was at fucking Home Depot and they were asking me
Oh
to
my
help them
God.
find something and I was not an employee there and they didn't catch on. And she's like, are you fucking kidding me? And I'm like, no, dude. It was a half hour of my life that I'm gonna like cherish forever because it was fucking glorious. And she thought it was hilarious. And I'm like, am I in trouble? She's like, no, I can't get like you can't get in trouble for something that didn't even happen in our store when you weren't working. I was like, okay, that's all I'm
Right.
worried about. And she's like, you're good. And I'm like, okay, cool. I don't know if they ever realized how dumb they were being, but they transferred their scripts from our pharmacy to another one the following week. Yeah.
No way.
So either they realized they were complete idiots and never wanted to face me again, or I pissed them off so much they refused to come back. Either way, I fucking won.
Oh my God. I love that.
It is honest.
I hope I hope that it was because like they realized how dumb they were, but at the same time, I hope it's both.
Well, I haven't seen them in the store that I used to work at, but I saw them at a different store and this was like a while ago. It was like after it happened, a while after it happened, and they were like down the same aisle as my mom and I, and like they saw we got eye contact, and they just like were like giving me the stank eye, and I'm like, Mom. I was like, listen, do you remember that time from Home Depot? And she goes, yeah. I was like, that's them. And she's like, oh, okay. And I was like, hey, Mom, do you know where the I don't know fruity pebbles are? And she goes, I don't fucking work here. Like, how am I supposed to know?
Yeah.
I was like, right, you would think people would know that if you don't work here you would. Whatever, it was a thing, it was funny. They were pissed, they huffed into the other aisle, and then you just hear them in the next aisle bitching, and I'm just like, yes.
I love you and your mom so much.
My mom and I are haters and we'll hate on like everyone. Like fuck with me.
Hell yeah.
Fucks with me. But
That's
that is
amazing. I
that is
love
the end
it.
of my story. Yep, pissing off people, pissing off old people at Home Depot.
So, before I get into my story, I just want to say, allergies are honestly the worst, and I'm just gonna be sniffling for the rest of my life. So, sorry.
Same.
Have you ever worked with a Karen?
Yes. For years in the pharmacy, it was hell.
Okay, because I used to have to. So I'm gonna tell you about that motherfucking story.
Ooh, tell me.
All right. So it was the busiest night I've ever had at this restaurant, ever. For indoor, bar, patio, takeout. Literally, we were all slammed and everybody was in the motherfucking weeds. Okay? We were crazy. We were all in danger.
Gross.
I know. So we have like six server it's I think it's five server computers that the servers use, obviously, and one takeout computer. So the takeout shares their computer with us every once in a while when all of the server computers are being used. And we're allowed to use it if it's not being used, you know? So
Mm-hmm.
at this particular time, it wasn't being used and all the other computers were being used. And I had a dumbass table, so I just want to get their order in ASAP. I won't even tell that story. It'll be for another episode, but whatever.
Okay.
So, side note, real quick, the majority of the takeout people are high schoolers or about to graduate high school or are
Ew.
like in between. Yeah, exactly. or they're like in between like their college break and waiting to go back to college. You know what I mean?
Mm, yeah, unfortunately, yes.
Right. So just to add that in there to show you how petty and not smart they really are. Anyways, I noticed that the takeout computer wasn't being used. So I asked the takeout girl if I could use it to put in an order real fast. She's like, yeah, sure. Like a snotty little bitch.
Mm,
So I start to put in my order, and then someone walks in for takeout to place an order. She takes their order, blah, blah, blah. She comes back to the computer, like right next to me, and she asks if I'm almost done because she needs it now. And I tell her, like, yeah, just 2 more seconds and I'll be done. Like,
relax.
right. And she got really upset when I said that for some fucking reason beyond my comprehension because she hit the order button on the screen, which when you do that, it sends your order immediately to the kitchen.
What the fuck?
Right. So I wasn't even done with the order. So my order's all fucked up. I looked at her and I'm like, "Are you fucking serious? I like you just submitted my order and I wasn't even done. Now their order's gonna be fucked up." And she says she doesn't care and she tried to like push me like with her like hip or butt, whatever the fuck it was, because she's so little. So I'm like, no, bitch. Absolutely not. So I'm telling her that I now need a manager to cancel the order so I can redo it because she hit order on my screen when I wasn't finished. And I'm like
Right.
not moving away from the computer that she needs. So she gets really pissy, face all red and shit, normal Karen stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So she starts being a huge cunt, and I just said, fuck you, and walked to the kitchen manager and tried to tell him that my order for table 12 was wrong. And he gets pissed at me, and I'm like, dude, listen, don't even because it's your fucking takeout girl's fault. And he's like, what? How? Why? So I told him like a basic rundown. He's like, oh, okay, well, just go find a manager to cancel it.
What
I'm
the fuck are
like,
you, dude?
right. I'm like, dude, aren't you a manager? Can't you cancel it for me? And he's like, I'm busy in the window. Like, mother, I will walk out right now during this massive rush. But I didn't. So he tells me to still go find a different manager. Couldn't find one
Where the
anywhere.
fuck were all of them?
Who fucking knows? They like the managers there always disappear, and it's just like, okay, I fucking need you to like put your code in.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I yelled back to the kitchen and wrote down like what my order for table 12 was supposed to be and like told them that it got messed up. And they were furious, of course. So I tried to tell them I can't find any managers and whatever. They just like threw the paper. So I was like, yeah, I'm fucking walking out tonight. Like, fuck this. So I walk back over to the server station that's directly next to the takeout, and she is just giving me the worst looks. Like, bitch, I did nothing to you.
Like, she's the one who fucked it up.
Right. And then try to push me with her hip butt, whatever the fuck it was.
She tried
But
to hip check you. I would have
yeah,
checked her in the face with my fucking fist.
right. But so I get like drinks for one of my other table, like refills from my other table. And um I'm carrying them on a tray and she like cuts me off.
Are you?
And I didn't, yeah,
Mm,
I'm not joking. I didn't drop them or anything.
thank God.
Right. So I went and dropped them off at the table and I come back and she's talking shit with one of the other servers about me right in front of me and they're both like side-eyeing me. And I'm like, and I literally just yelled, bitch, if you want to keep talking shit about me in front of me, clock the fuck out and walk outside.
Like, let's go. You're about to catch these hands.
right now. So she gets really upset and was like about to cry. And the other server looks at me and was like, Lauren, I'm just trying to figure out what's happening. And I'm like, for fucking what? Like, this had nothing to do with you. Like, go away. So managers hear me screaming, and I'm sure the customers do too, because I just stopped giving every fuck I ever had.
Yeah.
And the managers ask me what's happening. I tell them that this cunt ass takeout whore submitted my order without
Jesus
letting me finish.
That's a lot of names for one person.
And that and then she tried to shove me out of the way. So they finally let me resubmit my order. I let the kitchen manager know and the cooks, and I apologized. And they were like, okay, we appreciate it. Thanks for getting it fixed, blah, blah, blah. So we get a minute of like slow down time. So I'm like, okay, I'll run some food for some people that are way busier than me, blah, blah, whatever.
Right.
And she is still glaring at me, dude, like death eyes.
Why? She's the one who fucked up. She's just
Right?
mad that she got called out.
No. So I walk over to her and I ask what her deal was. And she goes, you're not even supposed to use the takeout computer. So I said, bitch, then you should have said no when I specifically asked you to use it.
Oh,
And she gets really upset and all pissy again. So I told her again, if she wants to continue being a rude ass cunt the rest of the night, that we can both clock out right now and walk out the door. So she walks away and she like goes to like tell the manager and like continues to talk shit about me in front of me with the other server that was just trying to understand what happened. And
okay.
I'm right,
I just
like,
wanted
bitch,
to gossip.
I know. So I'm like, okay, you little fucking cunt. I don't want to have to fight a fucking high schooler, but I'll make your life and your employment here a living hell every time we're scheduled together. So you can either stop talking shit about me for doing nothing wrong or clock the fuck out or quit. So she went to the freezer and cried.
As one would.
And right. And I got upset too, and I cried in a different freezer because I could not beat this girl's ass because she was underage. So I came back out, finished taking care of my tables, and my old work BFF was like, bitch, you got this. You're okay. Fuck that girl. Like, I had no idea you were kind of gangster. Like, what the fuck? And then she was just basically like, breathe with me. You got this. We got this. Fuck her.
I think it's funny that she's like, I didn't know you were that gangster when literally, like, from knowing you since middle school till now, um, I'm pretty sure Lauren, my sister, and both my brothers all beat the shit out of the same kid multiple
We
times.
did.
Like,
Absolutely.
we've all fought this kid. And we've all fought multiple people because we were like scrappy as fuck back in the day. We were like, okay,
I mean, like, we still are, but we're like, we can compose it better now.
hold on. Um, no, we are not scrappy because now people press charges and I ain't getting no case. Okay.
All right. So my work BFF calms me down a little bit. So I go tell the managers if they don't cut me right the fuck now to never schedule me again. So they cut me and I came to work the next day or the next night. And in our rallies that we have before each shift change, they told the servers that we cannot use the takeout computer anymore. So, moral of the story is one, don't fight a high schooler. Two, don't be a fucking Karen at work for no fucking reason. And 3, never touch another server's screen unless they fucking tell you to.
Period.
And that's my story.
Such a great story. I'm gonna start a little bit of controversy.
Ooh,
Just
okay.
remember that I love you.
I love you too.
I feel like you might have been a little Karen-y as well.
Oh, I definitely was, but only because she was very Karen to me first. So I feel like if Karen is a Karen to you, you can be a Karen back to
Okay,
them.
but 2 Karens don't make a right, okay?
You're right, but she was a Karen for no fucking reason, and it was just one of those
No,
days.
I know. I'm saying it
Just one of
now
those.
before somebody comes in the comments or the reviews like they talking shit about Karens, but they're Karens themselves.
But Lauren was being a fucking Karen.
Yeah.
It's
We
okay.
were just respond like you come at us with Karen energy, we're gonna come back with Karen energy.
Yeah, I was definitely a Karen, but she deserved it, like hard. And she needed to be fucking checked because she hasn't done it since. So
Good.
I know. So Lacey, who is your ballin' Betty of the week?
This week my ballin' Betty is going to have to be the manager from Home Depot because he laughed with me. He looked at them like, bitch, are you dumb? Because they were dumb. And then he ended up kicking them out, and he did great things that day.
Slow clap.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Home Depot manager. Snaps for you, homie. How about you? Who is your ballin' Betty?
So my ballin' Betty is a shout out to my old work BFF because she helped me not beat the shit out of this dumb high schooler for being a Karen towards me.
Hell yeah.
So she is my ballin'
Thank
Betty.
you, old work BFF.
All right, guys. So that's our episode. Thank you for listening. We appreciate you. And remember, in a world full of Karens, be a fucking Betty.
Hey.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to subscribe, follow, and review. If you want us to read your Karen tales, send them to us. Our email is in our bio or DM them to us. Lauren, give them those links.
So our Instagram is at excuse me Karen. Check it out. Show us some love. Send us the DMs. And thank you all for listening.
Bye.
Bye.